Okay, thanks everybody for joining. This is Carol with the Society of Thoracic Surgeons. This is the Adult Cardiac User Group call for 3 o'clock Central Time on January 30th. On the call with me today, I have Donna McDonald and Leanne Jones from STS. I have Melanie Bent, Paul Meehan, and Sarah Morsecraft from IQVIA. We are going to, this is a user group call, so this is a spot where we can talk with one another, hear how things are going with the transition, answer your questions with IQVIA on the line, go through some common things that we're seeing come up through with the start of the transition, with the start of the platform going live, and hopefully this will be a great call for everybody. Thank you for joining. I know this is the second hour for most of you. So a couple housekeeping updates. We talked about version 4.20 on the last call. We will have that video, the recorded webinar up on the STS website probably mid next week. And then the webinar and transition resources are available on the STS.org National Database homepage. I'm going to hand it over now to Donna McDonald to give a quick update on the current status of our transition. Donna, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining the call. Just wanted to update you on where we're at right now. Usernames and passwords for the Adult Cardiac Surgery Database platform went out starting on Tuesday and through late Tuesday. Additional ones have been going out since then. We've been contacted by some users who didn't get their credentials, and if that's the case, Carol will be putting up the contact information for the IQVIA help desk to get you sorted out with your credentials. The General Thoracic Surgery Database is undergoing beta testing for that platform. Usernames and credentials, or you won't have accessibility to that platform until it goes live, and I don't have an exact date for you yet. It's pending the results and changes that we make based on the testing. Congenital will follow. So if you're involved in more than one database right now, when you get your credentials, you'll only see adult cardiac. There have been a lot of questions about the harvest date. We're frantically working on that. We are lobbying for you to try and get an extension, but we can't do that at the risk of missing some important deadlines. So please stay tuned on that, and we will try and give you as much time as possible. I know it's a star rating harvest, and it's a very stressful time for all of you. So we're on your side. We're going to help everybody get through this together. So I'll turn it back to you, Carol, because I know we want to get to questions.
Yeah, we want to get to these questions that are coming in. Melanie, if you're available, I'd like you to give an update on the known issues list.
Sure.
Okay, let me switch the slides here. Just let me know when you'd like me to go to the next slide.
Okay, will do. All right. Hello, everyone. Currently, we have the following known issues that have been reported, and we're currently working on getting fixes ready to be deployed. The main ones, the highlighted ones here on the slides we wanted to raise. We know that we've heard from many of you already, but we want to make sure that we just share this with the group. There's also communication that will be going out with the list that you see here, and I believe there are a couple additional ones, but we'll make sure that the current items that are highlighted are shared with you all. So at this point, there's no need to call the help desk if you have not in regards to reporting some of these. Actually, Carol, can you go back just one slide? Yep. Just wanted to call out in regards to the big one has been, of course, the mortality death, and then items related to the post-peak, the post-peak T and I, and if now you can go to the next slide. Social Security in regards to getting an error for that. That has all of the items that you see here, plus some additional warnings and errors. We did have a review this morning to just go through and make sure that everything is in line as required by STS, and those changes that have been identified will also be included in fixes that are coming. So just know that it's in process, and we are addressing these items that have been reported by you all. Okay, And so those were the warning messages and error messages. Now we're moving to the uploader. We've had instances or reports in regards to when loading the actual page for the uploader. That interface is just showing animated, just an animation that's saying loading. So we are looking into that currently to see if that possibly could be associated with maybe browser settings or even actual network settings. So this one is taking a little bit longer for us to identify the root cause, but it is in process, and we should have more information. And again, we'll be sharing any updates through the communication with the list that will be sent out by STS. We did have some reports in regards to certain data elements. So we're looking into those specifically. This has not been reported widespread. So we're looking at whether or not if it's actual, if it's isolated to specific vendors. So there is more research that is happening there. We've had others that have not had this issue. So we are, again, moving forward with further investigation to see if it's isolated. But again, more information to come on that. Also, instances with the uploader where it is just giving a message where it's loading and it's stating it's to be complete. We again are working with those individuals to see if these are again isolated, because it has not been reported by all users. And then just jumping down to the reports, we are aware in regards to the label that is showing on the missing variable report, where it is referring to a label of missingness summary. That will be corrected. That is incorrect. It will say missing variable summary. So we will have that also corrected. And then there has been some reports of accessing the different reports, and again related to different browsers and settings, where there are users that are seeing different related messages regarding not able to view, permission denied. So we're working with those users to see if there are specific settings that are actually impacting them when seeing these messages. So currently this is the list, and again we will be sending this out to the users once we have just more updates, and then of course just to make sure that you all are aware of what's in progress. And I think that's the last slide for that,
Great,
right?
thanks. Yep,
Okay.
thanks, Melanie. So I'm just going to go over this is Carol again, just going to go over the support plan, which we've talked about on previous webinars. Your first line of support that you need to reach out to is the 800 number or emailing tech support. They then will go to a Tier 1, and they will route that to either Tier 2 at IQVIA or to STS. So your first line of contact should be this STS tech support at IQVIA.com, and they will be reaching out to us. And then from Tier 2, it will go to the database vendors, or if STS isn't able to answer the question, we'll send it over to DCRI if it's an analytical question that's complicated. So again, your resources, the STS National Database webpage, the STS tech support at IQVIA.com, and then there's a feedback form here for you as well. And I'm going, we have quite a few questions already, so I was planning to go through the website to show you where to find the documents. I'll probably pull that up as we're answering questions just to walk through that. But on the STS National Database landing page, you'll find this information here, and we have the training videos and link to IQVIA have been posted up there as well. Okay, so we're going to go to the questions now. Use the Q&A section, please, not the chat box, so we can keep track of the questions in one spot and we can answer them in order. We'll get to as many questions as we can in the next 49 minutes here, and we want your feedback and we want to hear from you. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. And here's the dates for the next webinar. February 5th will be a data warehouse transition webinar. It will be more educational. But we'll answer questions during that call as well. And then February 12th is the user group call. Okay, so I'm going to go back here to the contact page, and we're going to start answering. We already have 70 in the box, so we're going to start answering. And Melanie, most of these are probably going to be for you, so I'll read them and I'll let you go ahead and answer them, if that's okay. Does that sound like a good plan?
Let's do it, tag team.
All right, here we go. When will we be able to submit prior quarter data that has been amended? IQVIA is not uploading prior data.
You should be able to upload prior data. So we need to, and if you have not already logged a ticket or case with our support team, please do. There isn't a, we're currently not preventing you from doing that upload.
Great, thank you. Yes, IQVIA does not show my facility name. Instead shows participant ID as the name. Is this okay, or do I need to reach out and have it fixed? So I can take this one. We have decided to have the participant ID show instead of the name. So that is a normal function of your platform. Is there an internal server error? I'm getting an error message upon file submission.
So and if you haven't logged it already, please go ahead and log. We've run into those issues with certain files. We've noticed that, and again, we just need to take a look at the actual file and be able to troubleshoot the file itself. In previous experience, I've had issues where spacing or additional piping for some reason was added. And it's not to say that you're manipulating the file or anything. I'm sure the steps are that you're just exporting and then doing your normal process. But we actually need to take a look and see if there's anything that potentially offsetting in the file that's causing that error message to occur. So please log a case if you haven't done so already.
Okay, thank you. Next question is regarding the 30-day mortality status that they would like to see as missing items. It says, I've received my login and completed a download with DQR cleanup. My concern is what's not included in the DQR feedback process, like 30-day mortality status. I have 3 that I know for sure I have not answered yet. It was not included in the DQR as a missing item. Since % of missing is key in receiving your star ratings, I'm surprised it's not part of the report. Is this a known issue, or is it not intended to ever be included as a DQR feedback item?
So we actually have a separate report that's called the missing variable report. So I'm hoping that you were able to take a look at that to see if those variables showed up. It will not show up on the DQR, the interactive DQR that you're looking at the moment. So to be able to look at the missing and to have that count and to determine the threshold, you would take a look at the missing variable report.
Great, thank you. My next question is, my outside abstraction company does not have full access. Who do I notify, and should I avoid using the old STS Duke site where we got our documents and checked our contracts? So to update your participant contact form, you should go to the sts.org page, Registries and Research, National Database homepage. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see here database forms. On this form is the participant contact form, and that's where you're going to want to add somebody to your site. Next question, submitting data to IQVIA. Had a patient that was deceased prior to discharge, but after surgery. So this is the mortality error that's being corrected that we addressed earlier in the presentation. I uploaded a full .dat file yesterday afternoon. According to the export information from our vendor, CardioPulse, there were 295 cases. However, in looking at the uploader dashboard showing the upload, it shows 44 out of 44. According to the overview information, this only means 44 records successfully accepted. Is that correct?
No, that we would need to see what's occurring in regards to why the files in its entirety. The only thing that comes to mind at the moment is, were any of those files older files, meaning prior to 2.81? And so that's the only thing that I can think of at the moment. But if that's not the case and it was an expected data version, it should have accepted those files. So again, if you have not logged a ticket with the support team, please go ahead and reach out to them and get that logged so we can research and see what's occurring.
Okay, great. Next question. So this, Melanie, this has come up. I heard this from another site as well. It says, can we get a email copy of the issues submitted by the feedback form? And can these cases not be closed until the issue is truly resolved? We have no reference for follow-up. It seems that when it's closed at Tier 1 that they're getting a message that's saying it's closed. even though it's been transferred to Tier 2.
Okay, let me follow up on that. I thought that another ticket would have been generated, or not even another ticket. I thought that the same ticket would have been just moved, but I am not 100% sure on that process. So let me just follow up with our support team on that.
Okay. We're getting an error for hospital zip. Is this required? We are also getting an error for cath date. Per the TM, we should code cath as yes and leave the date blank as unavailable. So yes, this is all still true for the per the training manual. There's some some issues that we had set things as errors when they should have been set as warnings, and those corrections are going to be coming out by the weekend. Is that correct, Melanie?
That's correct.
Okay. My screen is frozen in the checking and check mapping, therefore I am not able to try to resubmit. I tried logging in twice this morning without success. I did call and submitted to IQVIA. Please advise.
Okay, so file was uploaded and just stuck at the step of mapping columns. Okay. And there's a ticket already logged for that. Did she? I'm not sure if there was like a participant ID.
Yes. I've tried logging in twice this morning without success. I did call and also submitted to IQVIA.
Okay. All right. So we would have to just take a look at that. I was trying to see if they put site ID, but I don't see our participant ID. Nope. Nope. That's okay.
I can follow up with Jean on that, Molly. We'll follow up and get back to the resource. Yep.
Thank you. And then there's a question here from Patricia that says she's waiting for a call back from, it's been over 2 hours for a Tier 2, 24 hours for a Tier 2 support. So Patricia, if you could just email the STS tech support, or if you could reach out to me, we can forward that over and have IQVIA look into it. Hold on one second. My file failed to process. When I looked on the STS site, it said to refer to the product guide. Where's the product guide located? So we have.
It's the uploader guide. It's called the uploader guide.
So we have that here under Registries and Research, STS National Database. And if you scroll down here, this is where the resources are located at. If you go under Database Transition Resource section, we have things in multiple places, but this is a general place to find everything. And it's this STS IQVIA uploader instruction. And if you open this, this is a walkthrough document. Are there any issues that you do not expect to be fixed prior to the harvest deadline?
No, right now we're working our best to make sure that all of these issues are resolved and not going to prevent users from submitting their data. So we're actively working on that.
Okay. I am unable to upload my file without getting internal connectivity error.
Okay, so that's in regards to the same, again, file format sometimes comes into play. And then a lot of times we also look at, is there consistency in regards to the vendors? Is it happening with the same vendor file? So if you haven't logged a ticket for that, please make sure that you do.
Great, thank you. I've sent in a couple questions to IQVIA. What's the turnaround time regarding email responses?
Right now, I believe I think they have it slated as 24 hours for a response, but no, let me take that back. I thought, actually it's on that previous slide. Depending on the level of severity of it's something that's blocking at the moment. Here we go. I was trying to see if there is. Yeah, anything outside of the 24 hours, outside of the support hours is 24 hours, but they usually have been responding within the same day to at least acknowledge and also see if they could get any additional information for clarification. But again, we'll follow back up with the support team on where we are with responses and for email and cases that have come in through the phone.
Great, thank you. I am getting an error for post-op neurocoding and adverse events coded as no. there were not any narrow events. How do I remove this error? I think this is one of those fixes that will be coming out.
It is one of the fixes. It is.
Okay, thank you. I was unable to upload my .dat file. First submission of 1 month okay, but tried to upload 2018 and it failed. Called IQVIA, and is this a common problem?
Tried to upload 2018. We need to look and see. There shouldn't be an issue with trying to upload 2018, which is 2.9. Okay. So I'm assuming that, again, there's a ticket that's already been logged. We'll just have to follow up to see.
Okay, thank you. Can we upload more than 1 year's worth of data?
Yes.
Okay. Same thing. The smaller 6-month file also failed. So please just log a ticket with IQVIA.
Yeah, we need to look and see.
It.
Yeah, we need to look. There's consistency that everyone is reporting here, so we need to take a look and see in regards to time frame and also the volume, what's included within the year, what's included in it. It should not be giving you an issue.
Right. Thank you. Next question was about they received an error because of a third walk test. A third time of the 5-meter walk test was not in there, and that's one of those fixes that will be coming out. That should just be a warning. If you had the second 5-meter walk test and you did not supply a 3rd-meter walk test time, that should just be a warning to let you know that it was blank.
Correct.
In data submission failure, I get an internal connectivity error. Please submit that to the IQVIA help desk if you haven't done so already. I'm getting numbers that don't correspond to patient record numbers in the patient display ID section in the MVR.
Okay, I haven't heard that one. That's new. Let's make sure that if you haven't logged that, Mary, if you can log that with our support team. I haven't heard that one before with the MVR. Mm-hmm.
The post-cardiac enzymes are coming up in the error report. So most of the things that were coming up in the error report that seem uncommon, really it should just be the times. If your OR start time is prior to your OR discharge time or something like that, those should be showing up in the error reports. The other things that are related to lab values or things that were just showing up on your DQR report is on your previous DQR reports as warning types of things should still be showing up as warnings and not errors, and those will all be fixed coming up here in the next few days with IQVIA. Next question. We have a 2% or less missing 30-day mortality follow-up. Where can we find this data point in the new DQR? The previous DQR specifically itemized to this data.
Sorry, I'm looking at it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so in regards to, hold on, did you close it?
I did.
Uh-oh.
They just want it, they want
is it
to
the
know.
Missing variable? Is it that, or because we do
It's
have
the
some more
30-day,
sections?
the 2% missingness for the 30-day mortality. This is the threshold questions that we've had before that we went through with Diana Alejo.
With Diane, yeah. So that's coming. So currently it's not available in this current release, but we are working on getting those additional sections added to the platform.
Great. Okay. Can you please provide the contact at STS so that our information security and risk assessment service vendor can reach out about IQVIA? We took several attempts to contact to reach contact, but still haven't heard back. So if you could please email I believe it's the STS tech support at IQVIA.com. Is that correct? Where those questions should be going now, Melanie and Sarah?
Yeah, that should be fine, and then they can reach out to us directly. That's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Will surgeons be able to see their own data? So with the Go Live, they are not able to drill down by NPI, but I believe that is coming in a future release.
That's correct.
One of the phased rollouts. Okay, thank you. There's a lot of information missing in the DQR report as compared to what we get from Duke. When we'll be getting data consistency, edits, checks, surgeons' information, etc. So the edits, checks, those are the errors and warnings that you're seeing. Those are the edits and checks. The data consistency, that's part of that. The surgeon information, etc. The surgeon per PID information will be coming you can currently do that in your vendor software, but I'm not sure that will we be able to allow sites to filter by NPI at the surgeon level? Melanie?
Sorry, Carol. Filter by
That's
NPI
okay.
on the dashboard. That's
Yep.
future. Yes. So that's something that we do have as an item for future release, but not available at the moment.
Okay. Thank you. What does an internal server error mean? My IT thinks it's not on our end. The tech support site has not been responsive to this issue.
Again, I think that it's related to, when I usually have seen that error message, it's related to the actual file. So we do need you to log a case with the support team so that we can take a look and be able to troubleshoot the file that's being uploaded. But let's take that first step, and then we can just take a look at how we can get that resolved for you quickly.
Thank you. I'm not having issues with uploading October through December. However, having issues trying to upload January, and it was sent into IQVIA today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they should be getting back to
so
you.
I need to look. Yep.
Thank you. Login.quintilis.com refused to connect. This error appears every time I attempt to view my data quality report.
Just off the top, when it says refuse to connect, it's usually related to maybe even a firewall. But again, let's go ahead and log that to support if you haven't done so already, so that we can go ahead and take a look at what's happening.
Okay, thank you. There is nowhere to see total mortality. I believe this will be on the dashboard. Is that correct, where they would see that?
Yes, on the dashboard.
Okay. Thank you. Same thing with an internal server error. When they upload a small file, they're not able to process the data.
Yep.
Okay. Another internal connection error. So many. Please show that first screen that had the mortality issue. So this is the screen. Are we going to have to re-harvest once the issues are resolved? So once those once they go through, will that just get applied to the data that they've already submitted?
So what we will ask is to re-upload so you can see the new validations and warnings that are in place with everything that's been updated. If you can go ahead and resubmit those to just verify that there are no, based on the updates that have happened of setting items that are truly warnings and items that are truly errors, it will go ahead and rerun those validations against those files. So what will happen is it will just update if it finds the records. It's just going to do a quick update. If there are no validation flags against those, it's not going to give you any new errors or warnings. But we are asking if you could resubmit.
Okay, that's great information. Thanks, Melanie. Next question, will you be sending out these known issues? Yes, STS is putting together an email with these known issues that should be sent out tonight or first thing in the morning. Next question, I got a warning that stated urgent emergent reason was urgent, and the reason was a shock circulatory support, but cardiogenic shock is not marked yes. I went in and looked via the link provided on the dashboard as well in the vendor's program, and yes, at the time of procedure is marked. So I think, Susan, if you probably will need to submit that to the tech support for them to look into that as well. Yes, I am also getting an error message for only documenting PO2, but PCO2 value, but no PCO2 value. It's dissimilar to the troponin issue. Yes, that's also something that IQVIA is working on. Can we delete uploading data when we are running several times to make corrections?
No, those at this time, you're not able to remove those entries. It's going to keep the historical attempts.
Okay, next question, next statement. I called in regards to the browser not loading. I was using Chrome, but when I went to Internet Explorer, I was able to view my data quality report.
Yeah, And again, it's settings. A lot of times settings within the browser that will, if you have stricter settings within Chrome, for example, especially around security, it will block. A lot of times it will block visibility to the report, whereas maybe the security settings within Internet Explorer is a little bit relaxed, and it's allowing it to be viewable. So yes, we are trying to see if there's anything that we can also supply to you all just in regards to steps to check within the browsers. We do have a troubleshooting guide that's posted to that same transition page, I believe, and also in the library. Carol, if it's not there, I'll resend. But in the library within the platform, we have some steps for troubleshooting Internet Explorer. We're looking at additional guides for the other browsers also.
I don't see it on my list here.
I'll email it to you.
Okay. My cases are not being uploaded. My cases files are not being loaded. I use Lemetics.
Okay. Go ahead and yeah, just to support. I've actually used worked with Lumetics with testing, so we just need to see, and it was fine, but we do need to see what's happening with the current file that you're trying to upload.
Great, thank you. Do we still clean up our files in our vendor data file? When I cleaned up and reloaded the file, it reports there are 2 files on the same case. That's just letting you know that you had replaced the previous file. Is that correct, Melanie?
Yes, that's what it sounds like. I think that is, it's just letting you know that it updated.
Okay, thank you. Error message stating that sequence 930 is marked no when it is actually marked yes, shock within 24 hours. I called the help number. So this is something that we're checking into as well. This is kind of separate, Melanie, than the warnings and errors list that we went through.
Mm-hmm.
It may need to be looked into. Next question. If export uploaded successfully but get error messages when trying to view report DQR, what should we do?
Still reach out to the support team. And it sounds like, again, maybe you can try, if you're using Chrome, maybe try going over to Internet Explorer to see whether or not it will open up in that browser.
Great, thank you. When reviewing the case in IQVIA, what is the purpose of the save and comment buttons?
Actually, thanks for calling that out. We will be hiding those. Those should not be available because, of course, the cases are read-only, but those buttons are still available. It will not allow you to make any changes there, but those should not be displaying to the end user.
Okay, next comment. How about calling the missing variable report missing variable report instead of having 2 different names?
That's fine.
Okay.
I think it is called missing variable report, and then there's a bottom section that basically is a summary. So it would be missing variable summary, I think, below. But the report should just be missing variable report.
Did anyone do the submissions through IQVIA? Yes, you've received submissions through IQVIA.
Yes, we have.
Number of files uploaded 90 out of 100, but let's say 200 were submitted. The 100 cases are new, but is there any validation being done on the old historical cases submitted for updated abstraction?
Yes, any files that are in the files that you're uploading, those are, all of them are going through a validation. Again, for versions that we support, 2.81 and 2.9.
Thank you. I fixed a few records and resubmitted them to IQVIA. I received the following message: record ID is a duplicate of an existing record. The existing record has been updated. So what does this mean? It means that the file that you had previously submitted has now been updated with the new record information. Next question. I tried to submit Q3 data for my site. 3 quarters worth of data for my site. Only 2 were added, and these were patients that had extended lengths of stay, discharged within past month. I was told that my other 3/4 records aren't being updated, and that these 2 will be added to what was migrated from DCRI. How can I be sure that 3/4 will will reflect all my actual cases and not just show 2 cases?
I would need to see this example. If the information is in the uploaded file, it would take all of those records that are included. So even if you had to go back and you had to make changes to even the data that was migrated and you had those records included in that uploaded file, the system will do an automatic match just to make sure that the changes that are made are captured even on those records that are migrated. So I guess I would need to see the specific example around what's being uploaded, but they should be accepted. So I would also say if you have not, and I'm assuming you already have a case, so we would just need to follow up with that. If you could, I guess, contact, how do we want, we would need specific information, maybe a site ID, participant ID with that last one, so that we can have something to reference to look at the case.
Let me see here. Hold on one second. Okay. I put my email address up there. If you want it to email with your ticket number and your PID, your site ID number, participant ID number. Okay. As noted by other sites on the previous call, I received error messages when attempting to upload our data. The error message was technical issue and the process was terminated. I was unable to connect to the STS tech supported IQVIA link for customer support and was required to call. I was told this was a known issue that was escalated. Is there a timetable for the issues to be resolved? It was mentioned that IQVIA is working with individuals. I have not been contacted. When will this occur?
Again, we would need the case information related to that.
Okay. And questions that we've already answered, we're not going to restate those. Is there a document to help with the reports from the dashboard? So I think that that's coming out. If it's not posted yet, it should be posted soon, because Melanie, that's what you had sent over.
Yes, yes.
So it's been sent to our marketing team to get posted. First, somebody asked to see the first slide of the known issues, so there you go. I can't upload my .dat file and tried 2 browsers. Our vendor is Cedaron. It doesn't seem to be getting consistent communication from the tech support. So, would you like them to send those over?
Yeah, we would just need their ticket number if they're able to share what they logged with support.
Okay. So if you could put your ticket number in the Q&A, we can see that then.
Yeah.
They closed the first line one. I don't understand your question, Whitney. If you could just please resubmit that. And if you are having connectivity server issue errors, please submit your ticket number into the Q&A. The same thing with the hospice patients. It says if the patient is discharged to hospice and expires on the same date of discharge, it generates an error message, and we're working on that to update that to a warning. What version will the resolutions be applied to? And I think that's coming out. There is going to be some downtime from 2 o'clock to 2:30 tomorrow morning. Is that correct, Melanie and Sarah? And then there's going to be another patch that goes through over the weekend?
That's correct.
Okay.
But again, we'll be communicating. We'll make sure that, of course, when we have things that are resolved in the patches, that's going to be communicated to in regards to the fix list, so that we can make sure that you all understand what's been resolved, what's still outstanding, just to make sure that we have some transparency there.
Great, thank you. Getting server errors with the uploader. Again, please submit your, if you have the ticket number, please send that in to us through the Q&A. How long does the role update take? I've submitted for a few facilities and still cannot upload. We are going through those as quickly as possible to make sure we have those completed. If it's been a few days, please feel free to reach out. And I'm going to put the CCRON at STS.org, and I can forward that over to where it needs to go to make sure we're taking care of those as quickly as possible. Know that if problems are not resolved on Tier 1, they will be sent to Tier 2. You'll receive an email saying issue closed. This only applies to Tier 1 issue closure. I found it confusing.
Right, and we're addressing that.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Did not get, okay, so Rashika, if you did not receive your credentials yet for IQVIA, I think that we had, you had emailed earlier today, and I had sent that over to Jane. We are working on checking that out and making sure all the participant contact information is updated. Again, the server error issues, if you're still getting those, please submit your ticket number into the Q&A. Is there, or will there be a report on tutorial on how to navigate your report once the data is submitted and how to read it in order to correct errors, specifically to see what the errors are? Was that in one of the videos already, Melanie?
I believe so. That's posted. But I know that I'm working on troubleshooting, like a troubleshooting video for Uploader, and then also the DQR. But there's a DQR Uploader and DQR combo video.
Yep, so we have these two videos here, the dashboard general navigation training, and then the Uploader. Oh, it looks like we have all three of these now. We have the general navigation, we have the IQVIA Uploader and DQR.
I think it's just those two. What is
those
that?
two.
Viewing the dashboard? What? That's old.
Yeah.
That's older.
That must be it. Okay,
Yep.
well, they take that down.
Just the two. Yep.
Okay. Our OR exit date and time are often the same as date and time as the skin incision stop date and time. The issue is CEO1. So they should be at the same time, and that shouldn't be showing up as an error or a warning. We'll have to check into those further. How do you see the complete and show comments and save button? Okay, so those
should not be enabled. Yep.
Yeah. Just to clarify, after the upload, only the quarter 4 2019 data will show up. I submitted for all of 2019, but only for Q4 cases showed in the DQR.
Okay, we would need to see exactly why that would be occurring. So I can see if I can have my test team to just run through that scenario, but it should be accepting, and you should be seeing all records within that upload on the DQR. Okay,
thank you. So again, if you're seeing warnings for things like paravalvular leak is chosen, but if it's showing up as warnings, those things should all be errors. And I'm sorry, if they're showing up as errors, they should all be warnings, not errors. So that is a fix that's coming through. Another suggestion is adding sequence numbers to the error messages. And I believe this is something that you're all planning to do in the future. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. Can you show how we access the missing variable report? I think that's on, was it on the December webinar?
Yes, it was, because we had that available. And so when you're in the application, there is a menu option that's called Operational Reports, and you will see the hyperlink that says Missing Variable Report.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you would access it. If you're still having an issue, please call the support team and they can assist.
Thank you. Okay, sorry, I'm just going through. There's a lot of duplicate questions, and I don't want to keep reading them. If you are unable to fix an error, will the record still be included in our data, such as I have an error for missing third walk? The patient refused the third walk. So those are going to be changed to warnings, and they'll still show up as a warning in your if you re-upload that file, because it's a warning. But that will happen after that fix goes out by this weekend. Can you show me on the screen how to find cabbage 30-day missing mortality? So maybe on our call or Melanie, if you're able to, do you want to take this one? Can you show me on the screen how to find the cabbage 30-day missing mortality? When I upload, I only see the high levels out of range.
On the missing day mortality, so this is on the DQR, I'm assuming, of where she's seeing high levels out of range, because those are being flagged. So the 30-day missing mortality, if those are missing, then the missing variable report should give that information. So I'm not logged in, and I don't have the scenario set up to be able to show that.
It's okay. We can do the walkthrough on the February 5th call,
Yes,
but I think for right now the important thing is to know that you could find that on the missing variable report.
Correct.
Okay. My export had 30 cases, but only 27 were uploaded, and it said successful. Is there a problem with IQVIA, or am I doing something wrong? Those are probably the error case or critical.
No,
Do you want to take that one, Melanie?
I think we need, again, to have them call in. They should be seeing, we need to see exactly what's happening. So if there's a count that, I think they said 30, but only 27, we would need to see if there's an instance where you have 30 that you were uploading and 27 were only accepted. There's a potential that there's a critical error that's flagging and preventing those records from coming in. I don't know if that's the scenario, but you would see immediately critical error, which is a circle with a red X, a red circle with a red X. And so that would basically let you know that if there were any records that were rejected, the DQR would also indicate specifically why they were rejected. So I don't know if that's the scenario, but please reach out to the support team and just provide the information, and we can see if we can get that as resolved for you quickly.
Thank you. The dashboards available from IQVIA are not displaying well on my desktop. I cannot read full metric key. The colors for graphs often have the same color for different metrics. Not sure if I need to open in a different browser. Any suggestions on that?
Yeah, and the guide that's going to be posted by marketing, and Carol, I'm wondering if I could go ahead and just post it to the library also.
Sure.
But I could post, so I'll go ahead and do that within the next hour, posting it within the library and the application. But there's a walkthrough for the dashboard. One of the things that you can do if in regards to opening it or resizing it is at the very left side of the dashboard, you'll see that there's a tab. It'll say ACSD Participant Dashboard Report. If you right click on that tab, it's going to give you an option that says open in another window, where that will open in full screen for you, and hopefully that will give you a better view, and it takes up more real estate. So, and again, these tips are in the guide that I'll be posting on the library within the application. So please check there, I guess within within an hour, that'll be posted.
Great, thank you. When you say you are working with vendors, what does this mean? I reached out early yesterday morning and haven't heard back from anyone. For example, I am not able to upload my data in the uploader. It's very important because they're leaving on vacation. So how
so we need that ticket number. We need to know the ticket number that was logged. And then in regards to working with vendors, prior to us launching, vendors had to submit de-identified files to make sure that we were able to upload their file successfully for the supported version. So that's what I meant by the comment of working, worked with vendors.
Okay, great. And you say you say to log a case, but what do you mean by that? So to log a case, you would email the tech support, STS tech support at IQVIA.com, or call the 800 number, and they'll be able to log a ticket for you. Another question is that they had an ability to load a complete file, and she told me it's a known issue. I didn't know there was a way to generate a ticket or log or anything.
Yes, they should have captured that as an actual ticket. It's not, so we will follow up with them to make sure that they are capturing this as an actual ticket, so that we're able to track and make sure that when we have a resolution, if there is a specific issue, then we can notify that that it's been corrected. So we'll follow up with our team in regards to how they're currently handling that.
Great, thank you. I signed into the website on Chrome and also tried Internet Explorer. All I got on my screen is congratulations on logging in. Please contact an administrator.
Okay, so please, if you have not contacted support, we need to log you or connect you to your actual PID site. That step needs to be done. So if you contact support, they will be able to make sure that you are linked to the correct PID.
Okay. It sounds like we need to help educate where the missing variable report is.
Yes,
yeah.
You do. And I'll just say that once again, if you go into the application, you will see there's a menu option that's called Operational Reports. Once you're in that menu, you will see where you can access the missing variable report and also the dashboard report.
Great, thank you. I'm not getting the colored marks on my reports, green, yellow, and red.
I don't know what that means.
Okay. Mary, if you could please provide a little bit more clarity on that. Are any other sites waiting for security assessments to be completed before they can log in?
I think we're pretty up to date on the security assessments. I know there were several that went out today, but please let us know if there's anything you're waiting on there.
Will these questions and answers be available on STS website or sent out by email? So they'll be available on the webinar. I apologize, but I can't, we don't have the staff right now to type up the answers to these questions. But the common questions I think we will be addressing in the future webinars. And again, it's on the end of the webinar to listen to. I know it's difficult just to listen to a bunch of questions, but hopefully it'll be helpful. It's clear based on the answers that any old historical files are not being counted in the upload count. There is also no missing variable report for those historical files. I tried submitting a previous quarter and received a server error since all patients were duplicates. So I think we're working on that one.
Yes.
Previously submitted files that require updates are not being overwritten. Is that correct?
It should be updated. Yeah, I haven't heard that, so I need to follow up on that. There should be any updates that are coming in after records have been uploaded. So let's just say that you uploaded yesterday, but then you needed to make some corrections and you need to upload that. The corrections should be going in as updates. So I'll follow up on that too.
I have two tier one tickets that say closed when in fact the issues were resolved via phone. They helped us that they were transferred to tier 2, so they closed the ticket.
So I've already followed up on that. We'll ensure that those don't get closed moving forward.
Okay.
So you have a reference.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks. You can submit your data now. We have some pushes. There's a question when you can officially submit. You can submit your data now. There are push updates that are coming through throughout the weekend. I have an opposite problem. The uploader shows 2 more cases than my vendor and I show. Is it pulling from patients done in September and discharged in October? I sent in an error in response. Was it was being sent to level 2, but have not heard back in a few days. So Lisa, could you please send in your ticket number so we can check into that a little bit further? Okay. Yes, so can information regarding error messages that are being worked on be included in the notification section on the platform so that we can be aware of what issues are currently under review?
Yes,
I think that's a
post
great
it there.
idea.
Yes, that's a great idea.
Yeah, that would be great. Okay, thank you. Another internal connectivity error. Please show where the participant contact form is on the website. Can't find it on the web page. Okay, so that is here under Registries and Research, STS National Database, and then scroll down a little bit under the database forms, and it's here. Can the exported Excel error warning report be formatted so we can sort?
Sorry, I was on mute.
That's okay.
Formatted so we can sort. Once you export it to Excel, you can sort. You would just put the filters on. I don't know, maybe I'm not answering the question, but as soon as you export it out, I believe there's also another option that's called export table, and you can also apply the filters on that version that is exported, and you're able to sort that way too.
Great, thank you. And then here is a question I think we haven't gotten to yet. Maybe this might be our last one. What is the difference between critical errors, and warnings? Are only critical errors mandatory fields? Mainly I'm getting errors with labs. So we're fixing the errors that you're getting that should not be errors. The critical errors, and Melanie, do you want to take this one or correct me if I'm,
so
oh, go ahead.
Critical errors are going to be the errors that will reject the actual records. Then those would be identified on the DQR. So if you receive a critical error, then that will prevent records from being saved to the data warehouse. Also, the document that we referred to earlier that's on the website for the uploader instructions, we have details in regards to each of those error statuses and what they mean. So please take a look at that document. We do give much more information in regards to that, plus plus errors that you potentially could encounter, and other scenarios are also included in that document. Just wanted to point, at least look there as a resource.
Great, thank you. I'm going to take this last one. It says, I'm getting a critical error in reference to a follow-up date. It is 2/4/2020, and the error is telling me I can't have a date in the future. How are we supposed to log a follow-up dates that are from a discharge that was 12/31/2019? So you don't have a follow-up date because that patient hasn't been seen yet. So you can only document what's been done, not future dates. Should we expect to receive notification via email or online by IQVIA or STS when the system is down?
That's going to come from, so we're going to make sure that it's sent out via email. So most likely we'll have that information, and it'll be sent from STS. And then we'll also have a notification posted within the application. But, you know, we want to make sure that we immediately give heads up. So email, and then also the posting in the notification section. Okay,
great. Thanks, Melanie. So we're going to stop there. Most of the questions that are remaining, there's quite a few remaining. Most of them that are remaining are things that we've covered. We'll go through and see if there's anything that is sticking out that maybe we're not aware of yet, and we'll address that and post that online as well. This recording should be up in the next, probably mid-next week. And I appreciate everybody joining. Thank you so much, Melanie and Sarah, for having this webinar with me. And I look forward to talking again soon. So I hope everybody has a great rest of the day. Thank you.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks. Bye.